All right, so now we have our funnel built. We have at least one page. Of course, you can go through and add more pages. We're just going to look at the editor. We're going to get a little bit more into this so that you can see what the settings look like. So you'll see up here in the top right, there are settings, and then there's three dots over here. So we're going to look at this, the settings first here. This is where you're going to be able to select a domain for this funnel, okay? So once you have a domain, you'll be able to apply it. Now, at this point in this training, we do not have domains added yet. So once we've done that, we'll come back. This is why I say go set up other things first. That way you can come back and actually have things available to you to set. So this is just our subdomain. So that's what we're going to use. It'll work, but you're most likely going to want a custom domain. All right. So we're going to set this to test mode. We're going to say yes. And then the style, you can set your style here as well. All right, so from there, you can also generate a funnel share link if you need to share this with somebody else. It's probably better to do all the work on it and then share the funnel link when you have that, okay? You also have the ability to archive and duplicate the funnel if you would like at this point. Let's look at these three dots over here and see what the difference is between settings and the little three dot settings over here. So this is just going to give you some analytics, mini map. You can actually turn off the analytics if you want there. The mini map, let's see what that does there. So the mini map down on the left, if you don't want to watch that, then you won't have to see it. And then you've got your page preview. So if you just want to see what step it's on, you could just turn all this off. And it just kind of declutters things for you, right? So generally, I would start with a blank slate, although I kind of feel bad that I'm probably going to end up deleting most of this here. So what you can do is if you realize that you just don't want anything, you can use the layout setting up here, and you can actually go down and delete items or sections from here. So you can delete, there's a section, we can delete that. So show code, if you need to use your CSS over here, your header code area, footer code area. If you're using a lot of scripts, a lot of those will go into the footer code. If you're putting Facebook pixel code in here, the base code, it's going to go in the header code area, okay? One last thing that I think we're going to cover here in this video, and then we'll go over to a new video. So, and that is that in the editor, pretty much the editor, even in ClickFunnels 1.0 or CF Classic was the same way. And if you use other funnel builders, you'll notice that the system is kind of the same. Like all of HTML or hypertext markup language is really built in that same backbone of using sections. So you're always going to add a section, which can be full page, wide, medium, small, extra small. This is going to be the canvas on which you start working. So you have a blank canvas, and then you can start adding sections. Okay, so we're going to add a full page section here. And then what happens is you're now able to add a row. So we're going to add a row. Here is where you have 1 column rows, 2 column, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So as you're building out your funnels, you'll have the section and then you'll have a row. So you might want a 2 or a 3 column row. Most likely I'm sure that there's very specific scenarios where you might want more than that, like 4, 5, or 6. Maybe you want to put like 5 or 6 images across or something. You know, I'm sure there's other scenarios as well. But for this, we're going to say we want a 2 column row, and you might put some other stuff in there as well. We'll say a 1 column row, and then you can actually move those rows around. So we now have 2 sections, and we have a 1 column row up here at the top. Actually, we don't. So we're going to add a 1 column row at the top, which will be our header. And then you'll see that we also have a second row, which is a 2 column row, and in which case you can start building. We now have enough to start building out our funnel, basically our funnel page. So you can add elements from here. So we now have sections, we have rows, which have columns, and then we have elements which go in those rows or in those columns, okay? So for your header, you might just have an image, or you might have some kind of a, let's click on that as a really big image. So what we're going to do is just make that smaller. So this might be a good place to put like a logo or something, or you could have a 2 column row. So we could actually put this up here, and then we could have that image. We could move this around and have that up there. We can actually change this image so it would be a little bit bigger, and then you could start placing other things in here. Now over here, maybe you would have a navigation element or something, right? Navigation, put that element in there, and then you can create kind of a little menu. And in CF 2.0, you can actually create drop downs, which is really cool. Or you can put your blog in there, which if people start clicking on that, if you have your blog set up, then you can actually go right into your blog area. Okay, so lots of cool things going on there. You kind of might have to think a little bit out of the box to see, how this is really going to turn out. But I'm just giving you an idea of how these really break down with the sections and the elements. Let's go in here and actually create a few more things. So a basic page might have a kind of a section or like a header up here. I'll give this a little bit of a background color. So down here, that way it's separated a little bit. Let's come down here and give that a little background color if we can. We'll just make it kind of a gray, kind of a slate there. It just kind of keeps it a little bit separated from what we're doing down here. So we're going to add a new element, and it might be a headline, and we might have a subheadline, right? So now we want to add more elements. We have all kinds of elements at our disposal that can be used, most of them on the same types of pages, whether they're opt-in pages, order pages, confirmation pages. All of this stuff should be right here. So we could actually put a checkout on this page, even though we set it up originally as an opt-in page. So we have input fields that we could add in here. Let's see, input fields, checkbox input. You could put all kinds of custom fields in here. What we're going to look for here is like a video. Maybe we have a video that we want to put in this, right? So lots of cool little things that you can kind of pull off. If you want to change the size of this, you might have to change the settings of the row and the width. So we could actually come down here and just say padding on the sides. Let's see what that does there. Kind of gives a little bit of padding, so you can pull the whole size of that video down. But what it's really doing is it's adding padding to the side. So there's a few different ways that you could pull this off and make this a little bit better, or just make it fit your style of what you're trying to build, right? Of course, go down the list, go into your account, check out all the elements, play around, have a good time. What I really wanted to do here was give you really just an overview of what's there in the editor so that you guys can get started and creating some things, okay?